If you've ever sat down at a Dungeons & Dragons table and thought, I want to hit hard, protect my team, and still look cool doing it, chances are the Paladin caught your eye. Paladins are one of those iconic classes that just feel powerful from the moment you pick them. You've got huge burst damage with smites, rock-solid defenses, clutch healing and CE support, and even a bit of spellcasting on top. Sure, they won't outsneak a rogue or outperform a bard in skill checks, but with that naturally high charisma, a paladin can easily step up as the party face and handle social encounters without breaking a sweat. Now, where things really get interesting is at level 3, when paladins choose their oath. This is the moment that truly defines how your character plays, both in combat and in roleplay. With 11 different Paladin Oaths available in D&D 5e, there's a lot to choose from. But let's be honest, not all of them perform at the same level. Some oaths shine effortlessly with strong early features and clear roles, while others need more work to really come online. In this video, we're breaking down the best Paladin Oaths by looking at offense, defense, support tools, key power spikes, and overall focus, so you can pick the oath that truly fits your playstyle. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking Paladin Oaths in Dungeons & Dragons. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The Paladin Oaths in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, and honestly, heavy is the disappointment too. The Oath of the Crown sounds epic on paper, like you are about to become the ultimate lawful hero of the realm. But in practice, it feels like showing up to a dragon fight with outdated armor and a lot of confidence. This oath first appeared in the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, which was the very first major Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition sourcebook, and let's be real, also one of the weakest. You can feel its age immediately. The theme is cool, loyalty and law and duty, but the mechanics just never quite deliver on that fantasy. When you actually look at what the Crown Paladin does, the problems become obvious. Divine Allegiance is supposed to be this noble, self-sacrificing ability, but it is basically a worse version of the Aura of the Guardian from the Oath of Redemption, which does the same job more efficiently and with better scaling. Then there is Exalted Champion, which should feel like a powerful capstone, but it gets completely overshadowed by what the Oath of Conquest or the Oath of the Watchers bring to the table. More control, more impact, more wow factor. The Oath of the Crown is not unplayable, but everything it can do is done better by another Paladin Oath, and that is why it lands comfortably in C tier. It is not terrible, it is just painfully outdated and desperately in need of a modern update. The Paladin Oaths in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Conquest, Oathbreaker, and Spellguard. Fear is a powerful tool, right up until your enemy simply does not care. That is the story of the Oath of Conquest in a nutshell. On paper, this Paladin Oath looks terrifying, literally built around dominating the battlefield through the frightened condition. When it works, it really works, locking enemies in place and crushing their will to fight. The fantasy of being an unstoppable tyrant paladin is strong, and early on, it can feel incredibly satisfying. The problem shows up as you climb into higher levels. Many supernatural enemies in Dungeons & Dragons, especially fiends, undead, and high-level monsters, are completely immune to being frightened. When that happens, a large chunk of the Conquest Paladin's low-level toolkit just stops functioning. You are suddenly a fear-based character in a world that feels nothing. That said, not everything falls apart. Scornful Rebuke still punishes enemies for daring to attack you, and Invincible Conqueror remains a genuinely powerful transformation that works against anyone, fear, immunity, or not. It is just unfortunate that these highlights arrive much later. Now let's talk about the Oathbreaker, the subclass everyone loves to argue about. The only reason it is not lower on this list is because it received a new version in a recent Dungeons & Dragons Unearthed Arcana. The original 2014 version was, frankly, a mess. It was overly dependent on having undead or fiend allies and felt more like a dungeon master tool than a real player option. The updated version fixes a lot of that and makes the Oathbreaker feel much more playable. Even with those improvements, the Oathbreaker still shares a key weakness with the Oath of Conquest. Many of its abilities still revolve around the frightened condition. That means the same high-level immunity issues can show up again, especially in late-game campaigns. Still, it is not all bad news. Supernatural resistance gives much-needed durability, and Dreadlord delivers a strong, intimidating presence on the battlefield. Just like with Conquest, the catch is timing, since these powerful features only come online at higher levels. Then we have the Spellguard, a brand new Paladin Oath introduced in another recent Dungeons & Dragons Unearthed Arcana. This one is immediately impressive. The Spell Guard is all about defending allies from magic, strengthening concentration saving throws, and even countering spells by striking enemies directly. It feels reactive, tactical, and very modern compared to some older oaths. However, the Spell Guard has a very specific appetite. It shines brightest when there are spellcasters on either side of the fight. If your party includes allied spellcasters who need protection, or if you are constantly facing enemy mages, this oath feels incredible. But put it into a campaign full of beasts, warriors, and non-magical threats, and suddenly its toolkit loses a lot of value. That is why all of these oaths land in B tier. They are good, sometimes even great, but they are a little too specialized for their own good. In the right campaign, they can feel amazing and dominate encounters. In the wrong one, they can feel oddly limited. Strong choices, just not universally reliable. The Paladin Oaths in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ancients, Noble Genie, Vengeance, and Watchers. Some Paladin Oaths do not just survive the meta, they age like fine magical wine, and A tier is where those reliable heavy hitters live. These are the subclasses that feel consistently strong across most campaigns, offering powerful tools without locking you into one narrow playstyle. They might not completely break the game, but they absolutely carry their weight from early levels to the end game. The Oath of the Ancients is a perfect example of a subclass that got even better with time. The 2024 Dungeons & Dragons rules refresh gave it several meaningful improvements. Nature's Wrath becoming an area of effect ability finally makes it worth pressing instead of ignoring it on your character sheet. Undying Sentinel also now restores far more hit points when it activates, turning near-death moments into genuine comeback plays. Aura of Warding did lose its old blanket resistance to spell damage, which was incredible against enemy spellcasters, but the new resistances to necrotic, psychic, and radiant damage are still extremely valuable against many of the most dangerous enemies in the game. On top of that, between their spell list and the Elder Champion capstone, Ancients Paladins can comfortably fill a nature-focused role if the party lacks a druid or ranger. That flexibility alone keeps them firmly in A tier. The Noble Genie Paladin from Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun, is one of the most unique oaths on this list, and that uniqueness works in its favor. Instead of pushing you toward heavy armor and strength, Genie's Splendor encourages dexterity-based builds through its alternative armor class calculation. This immediately sets the subclass apart and opens up playstyles most paladins never touch. Elemental spells give the Noble Genie strong and flexible offensive options, while Elemental Smite lets them adapt their damage to the situation. Aura of Elemental Shielding provides adjustable damage resistance, which is always valuable in longer campaigns. The Noble Scion capstone is especially impressive, granting a flying speed and automatic success on nearby 20-sided die tests. The only thing holding this oath back from S tier is that Afriti's Fury and Elemental Rebuke scale poorly in damage compared to other top tier Paladin features. If you want pure aggression, the Oath of Vengeance delivers exactly that. This subclass is built for Paladins who want to hunt targets down and end fights decisively. Spells like Hold Person, Misty Step, and Haste combine perfectly with Relentless Avenger, allowing Vengeance Paladins to dictate positioning and momentum in combat. Vow of Enmity, Soul of Vengeance, and Avenging Angel all reinforce the same idea. You will reach your target, and once you do, you will not miss. The downside is that the Oath of Vengeance is very self-focused. While you are flying across the battlefield deleting enemies, your allies may struggle to stay within your aura, which slightly limits team-wide support. The Oath of the Watchers is the definition of situational dominance done right. This subclass shines against enemies that rely on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, saving throws. Aberrations, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, and Fiends all have a very bad time when facing a Watcher's Paladin, but the subclass remains effective even outside those matchups thanks to an excellent spell list. Spells like Counterspell, Hold Monster, See Invisibility, and Scrying give Watcher's Paladins control both in and out of combat. Aura of the Sentinel is the real star though, providing an area of effect initiative bonus that almost always catches the entire party at the start of a fight. Acting first wins battles, and this aura alone justifies the Oath of the Watchers earning its A tier spot. The Paladin Oaths in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Devotion, Glory, and Redemption. Some Paladin Oaths do not just define a playstyle, they define what the class is supposed to feel like. S tier is reserved for the true paragons, the subclasses that make you look at your character sheet and think, yes, this is exactly why I picked Paladin. These oaths double down on the class fantasy while also delivering absurdly reliable power from low levels all the way to the endgame. The Oath of Devotion is the purest expression of the Paladin ideal. It is the subclass that leans hardest into the core identity of the class. And because Paladins are already incredibly strong, Devotion naturally follows. Holy Nimbus and the Oath spells are fine, but not headline-grabbingies. The real story is Sacred Weapon, which received a massive buff in the 2024 rules update and turned from a niche option into a serious threat amplifier. Aura of Devotion is what truly pushes this oath into S tier. Complete immunity to the charm condition for you and nearby allies is huge, especially in high-level play where mind control effects can end encounters instantly. Add Smite of Protection on top of that, and suddenly your aura becomes the safest place on the battlefield. Standing near a Devotion Paladin feels like being wrapped in divine plot armor. The Oath of Glory takes a very different approach but lands in the same tier through sheer versatility. With protective tools like Inspiring Smite and Glorious Defense, plus raw physical boosts from Peerless Athlete, Glory Paladins are built to dominate the front line. They do not just hit hard, they enable the entire party to move, reposition, and fight more effectively. Mobility is where Glory truly shines. Aura of Alacrity, combined with spells like Haste and Freedom of Movement, turns the battlefield into your playground. Living Legend seals the deal as an outstanding capstone. Anything that can guarantee a hit in Dungeons & Dragons is incredible, and having that kind of reliability in clutch moments is priceless. Then there is the Oath of Redemption, which might honestly be the strongest Paladin subclass ever printed. From early levels, Redemption Paladins bring absurd value with clutch spells like Counterspell and Hold Person, the damage redirecting aura of the Guardian, and brutal retaliation through Rebuke the Violent. Emissary of Peace also makes them exceptional party faces, proving they are just as dominant in social encounters. At high levels, Redemption somehow gets even better. Protective Spirit provides constant self-healing, and Emissary of Redemption stands out as one of the few Paladin capstones that is always active instead of being a temporary transformation. The result is a character that is unbelievably hard to kill while protecting everyone else at the same time. If S tier means nothing else quite compares, the Oath of Redemption earns that title without question. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.